Friends, how you doing? Good to see you on this late Wednesday. We are live. It is CFLW here. Wanted to come on and talk to you about what's been happening for today, just kind of break down what we expect, the areas of very heavy rain. We've had some stronger storms and some gustier winds. Great to see you guys live here on CFLW. Hope you're having a fantastic day. As always, let me know in the comment section below what's been going on with yourselves. And as always, CFLW is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida. They're your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. Friends, it is storm season. You guys can clearly see that. You get any kind of property damage, hail, wind, hurricane, you've been in an auto accident, they can walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. Go to leanomelaw.com if you guys would like more information. Let me bring on this timestamp here. Good to see you guys. Farah, how are you? Farah, if you notice that your name is now in blue and you have that wrench, I have made you a moderator of the channel. Now, don't go getting, all like, kingly on me here, but you can moderate the chat, meaning that if someone is getting kind of squirrely, you can boot them out or put them in timeout, something like that. Fiona is a moderator. She can walk you through things, but good to see you guys. So, look, nothing has been very organized yesterday or today. We've had pockets of heavy rain. We've had some flooding. We've had pockets of stronger storms and some winds. But I think just overall cumulatively, and also because of the fact that we have our area of low pressure trying to develop in this area, I thought it would be good just to jump on here and kind of talk about what's been happening over the last couple of hours. Now, right now, when I'll put the radar into motion, we've had some heavier storms develop right over the Orlando metro area. They actually started back down in Kissimmee and then basically rode along and then east of I-4 into Cibolo County. And we've had some wind gusts of over 30 miles an hour. Sanford did have a 38-mile-an-hour wind with this special weather statement as just this pocket of very heavy rain on the leading edge. The gusty winds came through. Couple of lightning strikes. Obviously, it's just been a very kind of gloomy day, especially in the last couple of hours here as these storms had developed. The most active weather really today has been kind of along I-75 and off towards the west, still raining very heavily there. We have some locally heavy rainfall to talk about. Let me bring on the composite radar here because I'm going to give you guys an idea of what's been happening. So let me take off. Let's bring on the composite radar, which is what you guys are seeing right now. I'm going to loop this up all the way over the last 6 hours, right? So you can kind of see that, first of all, we had the East Coast sea breeze kick on, and that really allowed these storms to initiate across I-4 and have become very heavy across portions of Citrus and Hernando and Pasco and Hillsborough and Pinellas counties. We had some special weather statements there. We had some marine advisories. No actual severe thunderstorm warnings for today, but again, here in the Tampa Bay area, watch as that special weather statement and special marine warning pulls through Tampa Bay. The Largo Pinellas Park area actually picked up a wind of 47 miles an hour. St. Pete had 30, South Tampa had 29. Down towards Sarasota, we had a 40-mile-an-hour wind. So we had some rowdier winds a little bit earlier in the afternoon associated with some of the activity that kind of has pulled offshore south of Tampa, but you get north and we still have some heavier rain and thunderstorm activity there. And we have additional showers and storms with another special weather statement all the way up in Alachua County. So again, it's been pockets of active weather from time to time. But I've just thought overall it was opportune to come on and have a discussion with you guys about kind of how I expect the rest of today to play out and into Thursday, especially with our potential tropical development area basically sitting over our heads, right? If you haven't heard, the Hurricane Center has put on a very low-end 10% chance. Now, before we get into that, I want to talk about the advisories that are currently into play, all right? So we have a flood advisory right now for portions of Osceola County. And here's the reason why. We've had minor flooding, we've had 1.5 inches and 2 inches of rain, but some of that happens in a very short amount of time. So Kissimmee, Intersection City, Campbell, Yeehaw Junction, the Kissimmee Airport, all with areas that could see some local flooding, mainly ponding on roadways and flooding of low-lying areas, okay? We have additional flood advisories in effect for Sumter County right now as well, and this does include Pasco County, so this will be combined when I read this out. It goes until 7:30. Again, minor flooding of low-lying areas and poor drainage areas. They've had 2 to 4 inches of rain already, an additional 1 to 2 could fall. So there's your 3 to maybe 6 inches of rain very quickly in a couple of areas. Again, it's not very widespread to have that kind of heavier rain, but if you guys have had or you've seen a little bit of flooding, let me know in the comment section below. Appreciate that. Hey, Therese, how you doing? Good to see you. You know, I'll be good. I know you will, Farrah. Hey, Garrett, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And Farrah, I do appreciate all of the comments in the post to say hit that like button and get that notification going as well. Appreciate that. So again, portions of Sumter, Pasco counties, and then offshore, you have the special marine warning off of the Citrus County coastline, Pasco and Hernando counties as well. Another, again, special weather statement up in Gainesville in the Alachua County area. So that's kind of the overall view of what's going on across our area at the hour. Let me bring on the visible satellite and the radar data. And again, just kind of an overall loop of what's been happening here over the last 6 hours. So let me loop this up for you guys. Again, at this point in time, there's no severe storms. Could we see the opportunity for a stronger storm redevelop later today? It's certainly possible. Again, as whatever this ends up becoming emerges into the Northeast Gulf, as I mentioned in Monday's CFLW, the show, we then pick up southerly winds behind it, and we're going to get more tropical moisture coming back in for more wet weather, at least through tomorrow. But again, just very active with this. The Hurricane Center has kind of put this area right here, but it's such a broad spin. And again, it's only a 10% chance. Now, regardless, this is going to bring heavier rain to our area through tomorrow, and then that heavier opportunity for rain just spreads west across the I-10 corridor, so towards places like Pensacola and Mobile and Biloxi, New Orleans, eventually towards Houston and the Galveston areas. Not a big chance here. Models really don't hold on to really wrapping this thing up into anything strong, but heavier flooding rains are absolutely a possibility. As far as any risk for severe thunderstorms goes, we'll take a look at that in the excessive rainfall outlook. So this is the risk for today. We are simply under that generalized risk for storms. Nothing organized, generally probably staying in the special weather statement criteria. So that's winds below 60 miles an hour, more than likely not a hail threat for today. The storms will be producing, the opportunity for some strong winds, but also a funnel cloud or two is not out of the question. And we'll talk about something here that happened a little bit earlier to our south in a second, which more than likely was a brief tornado. As far as the excessive rainfall potential for today goes, let's take a look at that for you guys. So this is the excessive rainfall risk. All of Central Florida is under the marginal risk, if you will, for excessive rainfall. And that's why we've had some flood advisories. The bottom line is that we could meet or exceed flash flood criteria in a couple of spots. Before I go too much farther here, let's get into our live cameras. There's one I wanted to show you here. This is Winter Garden. Now, just before I came on, and I probably should have shown you guys this camera right when I jumped on, there were some streaks of sunlight kind of hinting through some of these clouds. It made for a very picturesque shot. Again, this is in the western side of Orange County. We're looking west, so we're looking back, towards Lake County and just down the road there. And you can just clearly see this is where all the active weather and the heavier tropical moisture has come through. A couple of rounds of showers have moved through the western side of Orange County, for the day. But basically, it's now I-4 west for the most prolific rain that we're seeing. So you contrast that with the Conway cam, which is just southeast of downtown Orlando, and we're looking back towards the east. And you actually see some blue sky out there as we're looking back towards the East Coast. Some overcast conditions here and there, just kind of area dependent, but obviously not the organized tropical deeper moisture in play right now. Here breaks in that again as the East Coast sea breeze has come on shore. It's pushed a lot of the weather back west of the I-4 corridor. And then Disney for today, again, it's just been a wet day. You can see that the rain dripping there off of the gutters. At this point in time, no rain. That's good news for the fireworks later today. Still could see some additional showers in the Lake Buena Vista area and some rumbles of thunder. Most of this activity has pulsed up enough to at least produce a little bit of lightning as we've rolled through the afternoon hours. Let me get back over to the chat. Good to see you, Amy. How you doing? Quiet beachside Ormond all day. Yeah, the East Coast has been a little bit quieter overall, Amy. Again, the East Coast sea breeze is what marched on shore, so that allowed most of the thunderstorm activity to sneak off to the central and the western sides of the area. Again, this is the live radar for you guys right now. At this point in time, we don't have even a special weather statement. If you're just tuning in, we did a couple of minutes while we were on live, and then, for about 20 minutes prior, we had a special weather statement in the Stanford, area. We had another special weather statement in Kissimmee. These are your wind gusts over the last hour. So these showers and storms have produced some 30-mile-an-hour winds more than anything. And again, now we have a special marine warning off of the Nature Coast coastline, including the Crystal River area, for the next 20 minutes. Some fair lightning out of that as well. Look, even the storm near Crystal River right now is, reporting in potentially offshore, maybe a little bit of some smaller hail. More than likely, though, just some heavier rain. Now, I mentioned what happened earlier in the day. Let me bring on the local storm reports, because a couple of things I want to point out with this. So let's get back down here to the Tampa area, all right? And you're going to see that there's a couple of wind reports here, right? So 46-mile-an-hour wind in Tampa. St. Pete had a 46. Here in that Largo Pinellas Point, they had a 47, right? But we also had, let me see if it pops up here. I don't know if it's going to, if it was considered to be an actual report. But in DeSoto County, saw video of, what they were calling straight line winds, but man, it looked like a brief tornado to me. I don't know if you guys have seen that video or not, but it looks like that there's not even a local storm report associated with that one. But anyway, it shows you that there's a bit of turbulence in the atmosphere to go along with this very, spin that we have. Very broad spin at this point in time. Now, is it going to bring the same kind of impacts that 93L brought us last week? In a wide sense, no, but there is still enough ample tropical moisture where flooding is still a problem in some spots. You saw the flood advisories already. Additional heavier rain tonight and additional heavier rain tomorrow could lead to more localized flooding. There was some significant flooding near the Florida Institute of Technology in Brevard County yesterday. I mean, it was like this little pinhole of 4, 5, 6+ inches of rain, but a couple of spots, got that. Garrett, Farah, Amy, good to see you guys. Hi, Therese. Again, love to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Love our CFLW community. If you just want to drop a hi, you want to let me know where you're viewing from, I appreciate all of that. It's one of the reasons why I come on live. We can have this interaction. You guys have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. Again, this is a live-only channel. I'm on live right now because I felt like I needed to come on and just kind of talk about what has happened and what's going to happen for tomorrow, considering we are in an active pattern. We don't have any organized severe storms. We've had some stronger storms, but we do have enough instability in the atmosphere to produce some heavier rain, and some localized flooding will continue as well. So, just wanted to come on and chat with you guys. If you guys had a specific question about the forecast, you're more than welcome to put that in the comment section below for you guys as well. I'll remind myself to make sure that we talk about the potential for rainfall totals as well. Again, one more time before we get into the models, and this is not going to be a long stream. Let me be very clear about this. We'll be on here for a little bit longer, but we're not going to be going for hours and hours based on this. Going to get you guys the information you need, and then all of us can go have dinner. So again, the flood advisory for Osceola County. And again, flood advisories are normally issued for a couple of hours at a time. This one will go until 6:45. It would issued at 5:08, so about an hour and a half. Again, minor flooding of low-lying areas, 1.5 to 2 inches of rain with an additional inch. So, 2.5, 3 inches there. The rain has been more significant in Sumter and Pasco counties. So that flood advisory goes until 7:30, and they've already had 2 to 4 inches in a couple of spots. An additional 1 to 2 is possible. So, 3 to 6 inches of rain. Again, very localized, but that kind of rainfall has occurred in some of the area. So let me bring up the HRRR model here and talk about what's going to be happening over the next 48 hours. Now, conditions will improve later tomorrow, and especially as we get into Friday, we are going to begin to dry out. This is not a situation where, the heavier rain potential is going to sit overhead for too long. But again, when you get to the east of that center with the counterclockwise winds, all of the winds for tomorrow and early on Friday are going to be in the south, out of the south, and that's just going to pull in more richer tropical moisture as well. Got my lean law tumbler again. I talk a lot this time of the year, so I take breaks and make sure that I keep my throat warmed up and ready to go. So this is the overall broad spin. Again, you can clearly see that, again, the HRRR model is not a great tropical model, all right? But it is nice, localized, convective model, which is very, very useful in the short term. But you can just see that broad, disorganized spin pulling away from the area. But in the shorter term, tonight and tomorrow, we're still going to get pockets of heavier rain. Still going to not just be in the afternoon, certainly the opportunity for additional heavier rain to develop a little bit earlier in the day. And I just realized I need to back time this just a little bit. I don't think we need to start at 2 o'clock in the morning. We need to start a little bit earlier than that. Thank you, Farrah. Yeah, you and Fiona, tag teaming the moderating duties. I appreciate that. Fiona's like OG. She's old school. She joined us on the Media Mundo channel right after we launched, and she's been fantastic. But, always seeking out people. Normally, I'm not the one who actually makes the moderators, but we needed to add 1 or 2 here on the CFLW channel. So, Farrah, I saw how enthusiastic you've been lately, and I appreciate that. All right, and by the way, guys, you might see the super things are available now as well. Other things that we have finally achieved here on the channel. We've got our top fans, so you might see that. Just ways to support the channel a little bit more prominent. And from time to time, you might even catch an ad, which again is a good thing. So here is the Her bottle as we speak for 7 o'clock. You can certainly pick up the rain across I-75. It's a little bit more robust with some activity east of I-4, which isn't there at this point in time. So, I always look at the kind of current conditions with these models and what they're trying to do. Now, we're trying to lift some of this rain north, but most of the activity so far has been out of the east. What's happened is that the East Coast sea breeze has marched so far to the west that more than likely the mid-level winds out of the south will actually pick up some of this leftover activity inland and might push it a little bit more due north. So, even if you live along the East Coast, and I think the Her model is overdoing this a bit, but could you run into a shower around sunset tonight for Daytona Beach and Edgewater and even Titusville up towards Palm Coast? It's plausible. Still expecting most of this activity to move off of the West Coast and dissipate after that, but you can see on the Her model that it's an opportunity. And again, with this big broad spin, there's going to be a lot of disorganized activity continuing to develop because there's a lot of lift in the atmosphere, right? It's not just the sea breeze interaction at the surface that's promoting these storms. There's a lot of lift in the mid and the upper levels. It's another very complicated forecast, right? Where it's hard to pinpoint where the heaviest rain is going to fall. But I do expect there to be additional heavier showers to try and redevelop again late tomorrow morning and into the afternoon hours. So this is our Her bottle for 4 o'clock tomorrow, and you can see some heavier storms. I think it's the same scenario as today, where we get some special weather statements, maybe from time to time, with generally the winds 40 miles an hour, which is about the minimum criteria for a special weather statement. That might knock around some loose objects. It's generally not going to cause any damage. Could knock down some, branches. Hopefully not enough to cause any power problems, anything like that, but still heavier tropical downpours and the potential for a little bit of flooding as well. This is tomorrow night. Osceola, Polk County, Hillsborough, Hernando, Pasco counties, all with some fairly wet weather. And again, more showers just driving inland, even into the wee hours of the morning and then into our Friday afternoon. It's not going to be completely dry on Friday, okay? There is still going to be some spottier showers. It's just not going to be as widespread, and hopefully the potential for excessive rainfall comes down a bit as this, again, weak broad low continues to spin and moves away from the area and eventually pulls away some of the moisture. The other thing on the heels of this, and I'll have more on this on the Friday CFLW The Show at 1 o'clock, is there is a layer of Saharan air that's going to be coming back in for the weekend. It's not going to be robust, but there will be some haze in the sky, and that drier air will limit the rain chances a bit starting late on Friday and especially over the weekend. So kind of on the heels of this potential tropical development area, which again is only a 10% chance, we get the heavier rain the next 24 to 36 hours, and then we actually see drier than normal conditions with that Saharan air moving back in. Hey, Gary, how you doing? Badly need the rain in the Tampa Bay area. Thank you, Lord Jesus. You got it, pal. Very significant rain, just area dependent where you were in Tampa today. But again, the opportunity on the Her bottle to fire up additional heavier showers across the I-75 corridor. We at least have one more day, out of this. And again, you can clearly see the spin with this. If I show you guys the winds associated with this, I think it's a great product to also bring up. And Gary, I'm glad you got the rain that you needed. That's awesome. Hey Cujo, how you doing? Joining from the heartland of Florida. I appreciate you doing so. Thanks for dropping a comment as well. Love to hear from you guys. So Cujo and Gary, appreciate you guys taking a brief second out of your time and jumping in the chat and saying hi. Again, live only channel, just to make it very clear, there's no organized severe weather. We've had a couple of special weather statements for today, but just with the combination of all the activity, I didn't want to just not jump on and at least briefly kind of go over what's happened and what I expect to happen through tomorrow, because we're going to get into another day where it's going to be gloomy and gray and there's just a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and we're going to get heavier downpours and some thunderstorms tomorrow and the potential for some isolated flooding. So you know, I got you guys covered here. I have a pretty high threshold of when I jump on, but I felt this warranted at least coming on and having a discussion with you guys. Gina, how you doing? It's great to see you from the Villages, an area I know well. Not that I've actually ever been to the Villages, but my parents live in Inverness. I grew up in Crystal River. We swing by the Villages area all the time. My parents actually go have lunch sometime in the Villages. What I love about the Villages is there's like something for everyone, right? They're all different areas, spaced apart, but they all have different themes. And I love the fact that the gas stations actually only are for golf carts for the most part. Hi, Annie, how you doing? So you can just clearly see the winds here. I'm just letting this loop up, and let me just take off that area of invest. Again, if you're just tuning in as well, it's only a 10% chance. You know, Hurricane Center just felt that there was enough of a chance here in the Northeast Gulf where they had to put a little 10% ring on as it moves away from us. But what you're looking at here is just what are the wind profiles at the surface. These are wind gusts. And anywhere that you see the green, if you guys just kind of look on your map, there's going to be over 20-mile-an-hour winds. So from time to time, we're going to get some gusty conditions over the next couple of days as well. But also just to, again, show you this overall very disorganized spin in the northern Gulf that's going to be moving back off towards the west. Annie, I'm glad to hear that. And I hope you're doing well again for today. It's at least cut down the temperatures, right? You know, when we talked on Monday, you know, we had the heat advisory. We had feels like temperatures at 108 to 112. These are your current heat indices, right? Which are probably at or near your actual temperature. There's your actual temperature. And there is your heat index, which is not much worse or the same. So at least we've undercut that, right? And I know my grass was crunchy. I could have used some of this activity and some of this rain, but we have to also contend with there being too much rain in too short of amount of time as well. We've all heard about the parties in the Villages. How true they are, who knows? But I appreciate Gina coming in, saying hi. Come on by, it's fun. I hear you. I bet it is. So this was the special weather statement like Winter Springs, Lake Mary, Sanford, right? And again, these are temperatures. So we've really cooled things off. Now, oh wait, this is the heat index. Apologize. But let's be clear, right? This is a very great graphic to show you guys. DeLand's feels like temperature is still 93. New Smyrna's feels like temperature is still 99. And look, I told you the HER model was developing some rain back again across I-95. We just looked at that, and there you go. In just the last 5 minutes, a nice little cell has developed over Oak Hill. That's why I love that model. It's first of all, updates hourly, so we kind of get the newest information all the time, but in the short term, it is a very accurate model. And again, even though we've seen a lot of this activity move west, now that the East Coast sea breezes along the west coast is more of the mid-level winds out of the south that are picking up the storms and now drifting them north. And you saw that over Orange and Seminole counties, and now these showers are building into Volusia County, all the way from DeLand and Deltona and Lake Helen up to Oak Hill. And these could be riding up. Oh, look at Ormond Beach. Feels like temperature 108. What is that? 88 with a dew point of 82 at 6 o'clock. That's the 5:50 or the 6 p.m. update from that station. 88 with a dew point of 82. That is the definition of gross. Whew. That's rough, man. That's like trying to breathe through a straw. Good luck with that one. But again, you know, additional showers. Now, I don't expect these to be severe, okay? But if you haven't caught some rain along the East Coast today, you have an opportunity here in the next couple of hours, probably at least through 9 o'clock. These showers should make a run up in interior sections of Volusia and Flagler, even up towards St. John's, but also could be building a little bit farther east right along the immediate coast as well. Boy, Fair, I bet it is. If you're in Ormond, I've got a feels like temperature for you of 108 right now. Daytona in at 92. Now, maybe the sensor is off on the actual dew point, and maybe it's not as high as 82, but to have a feels like temperature that's probably still above 100 at 6 o'clock, that is no fun indeed. But you can clearly see that everyone else has broken the heat with the opportunity of the rain that we've had here lately. All right, let's see what else we got to show you guys here. Again, this is the excessive rainfall outlook is still on the marginal side. The visible satellite imagery with the radar data, again, just so you guys can see that spin. Again, you can almost see a little bit of a pulse up there over the Gainesville area. Let me bring on a couple of other things here as well. So it's a very convoluted forecast because you actually have kind of this trough line. Then you have just this weak kind of decaying front to the north, and the winds that you see here. I'm going to freshen these up a little bit so you guys can see. Let me just bring on the composite radar by itself, and then bring on these wind fields. So you can start to see here, right? And these are live winds. You can start to see that the winds are beginning to kind of turn back again a little bit more out of the south. Right, the East Coast sea breeze marched on shore, and now the winds behind some of this activity are just starting to snake a little bit more with the south component. Not outrageous, but it should take some of the activity that we're seeing to our south and lifting it north. And that's the first initial wave. And then we start to see a little bit of that rain, northern Brevard, and now even back over the Oak Hill area here. I'll bring back on that time frame so you guys can see it. All right. So, does anyone have any specific questions? Lori says, hot as hell here in Panama City. I'm with you, Lori. I understand. Let's see what your current temperature is here, PCB. Yeah, it starts with a 9. That's not great. Yeah, 90. Well, 88 at the beach, but 90 inland. That's your actual temperature. Feels like, yeah, 100 on the beach, 108 inland. Couple of scattered showers and storms around. And again, you know, some of these storms can be pretty nasty. Tallahassee had some good wind yesterday. They had a 60-mile-an-hour wind with some of the storms. You know, you get that mid-level spin in that air aloft, that divergence, and you know, some of these storms can produce some pretty solid wind fields as well. So let's break down again real quickly kind of what's happening right now, and then look ahead. And that's pretty much all I wanted to do, was to come on and talk about, you know, what I expected the remainder of tonight. Now, again, we've quieted down any severe storms at this point in time. We just had special weather statements. The winds were the main threat. The biggest potential over the next couple of hours is going to be the opportunity to still continue some of the flooding. Now, the flood advisory for Osceola County should expire in the next 4 minutes. We've had 2.5 to 3 inches of rain in the northern sides of the county. The bigger area for additional potential flooding, and it goes until 7:30, so almost the next 50 minutes, is portions of Pasco and Sumter counties. Again, they've had 2 to 4 already, but maybe an additional 1 to 2. Some of the places are going to be Dade City, St. Leo, Wesley Chapel South. If you live in Wesley Chapel, you're fine. San Antonio, Dade City North, Blanton, St. Leo, and Lacucci. You know, heavier rain up towards the Wildwood area and the villages from time to time as well. And then this is a special marine warning that will also be expiring. So we've had that, and they have issued a flood advisory here as well. So 1.5 to 2 inches of rain. This is going to be for Cibito County till 7:45. So it looks like this one was issued a little bit ago, but not too long ago. Again, 1.5 to 2, another 1 to 2, so 2.5 to 4 portions of Cibito County. And again, there's still some decent rainfall at the hour here, but some of the heaviest activity is trying to sneak a little bit farther away. But still in the Sanford area, Deltona, Lake Mary, then on over towards Mount Plymouth, down the road, you know, Orange City, there's Lake Helen and our friends in DeLand. And this is an area where the activity is actually building right now. Most of this is pushing off west, but back into portions of central and southern Volusia County, we're actually starting to see some new cells develop. Now, notice that in this view, well, I just did that to myself, didn't I? Now I went way too fast. All right, let's reset that. In this view, over the last 15 minutes, we've had no lightning strikes, right? So these are just rich tropical downpours that are coming down the road. When we get farther west, the storms have been a little bit rowdier lately, and we've had a couple of additional lightning strikes. Annie says a little bit of rain to Samsula. Yep, a little bit there from time to time. So again, this special marine warning is going away. One of the flood advisories is going away as well. So, maybe a little bit of a lull in the short term right now. But I wanted to come on just because there's been enough activity today and the potential flood threat. Now, I almost left this off, but this is the GFS model rainfall totals. And again, you're going to get pockets of a few more inches of rain. This does not take into account anything that's fallen. This is what is additional could be falling in the next couple of days. Now, again, is it going to be Lake County and Orange that have the additional 3+ inches of rain in a couple of spots? And, is it going to be over Tampa Bay and the Ruskin area, Gibsonton? Potentially. But you get the idea of the opportunity for how much rain could fall. And if we get 3 more inches of rain tomorrow or even through early Friday in a couple of spots with as wet as it has been, it could lead to additional flood issues. Again, yesterday near the Florida Institute of Technology there in Brevard County, they had this flash flood warning. They had 5-6 inches of rain in a really isolated area. It reminded me of Plant City when 93L swung across our area and produced that 10 inches of rain in one day. Again, very, very localized, but that opportunity exists. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like on the HER bottle. I meant to do that a little bit earlier. So here's total precip, and I will take it out to Friday afternoon. And here you go, right? Now, I think the HER model's on it a little bit more. So what are the potential totals here? Well, again, this gets significant, and it's not out of the question that portions of Metro Orlando between now, starting right now, has nothing to do with any rain that we've already seen through Friday afternoon. And I'll show you the model timeline so you guys know what I'm talking about. Through 2 o'clock tomorrow or Friday, can get up to 6 inches of rain. There's a deep layer of tropical moisture that is spinning around the east side with that south wind coming in. So we have to watch out for that. I'm going to keep a vigilant eye. It's not the sexiest thing in the weather world, right? We're not going on for severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, but, appreciably there could be more significant rain and more issues to go along with some stronger storms. The biggest widespread potential impact could be, as I'm just popping around on the old model here, could be for areas that pick up 3 to 6 additional inches of rain. And again, is it going to be exactly in these spots where the HER model has it? Maybe, but maybe not. But you notice how widespread it is. These are really solid rainfall totals that have yet to arrive. So whatever you have received from I-4 to I-75 in the West Coast, if we average this out, I'm going to say it's 2 to 4 inches in a fair amount of areas, with localized maybe 5 to 6 in a couple of spots. Eastern coastline, you guys are going to be the driest, but not completely dry. Again, maybe an inch in a couple of areas, but you see a lot more drier spots here from time to time. Daytona Beach, Ormond Beach, places like that. And you just get inland, and you're going to get that heavier downpour. You're going to get a pocket that produces locally heavy rain. So that's going to be the biggest storyline between now and Friday afternoon, but some gusty winds will come along for the ride as well. All right, does anyone have any specific questions about the forecast? If you do, feel free to let me know in the comment section below as we speak. As I say, speak now, forever hold your peace. Hey Greg, how you doing? Ham operator in the house, Suwannee County, Florida, Live Oak Lake City. Spent some time on the Suwannee myself. Greg, appreciate you joining. Thanks for dropping a comment in the comment section and joining our chat. Appreciate you guys very much. And again, I got the regulars in the house and a lot more watching. And I appreciate all of you guys jumping in and tuning in for this live stream. Again, the live only channel, you guys know that when I'm on, there's something significant to talk about, right? Which is why I suggest that you guys have your notifications on for the channel and you have them all on. That is the bell icon that you guys see there in the channel. And then you click on that bell icon and there's a couple of different levels of notification you guys can have. But I do suggest having the all notifications on because again, I'm only going to come on when there's something impactful. You guys can jump on and join with me and we can chat about it. And I do the live show generally Monday and Fridays at 1 o'clock. That's CFLW, the show where to get you guys prepared for the week, Monday through Friday with the Monday show, and then Friday we do Friday and the weekend as well. So, want to see you guys on if I don't see you tomorrow, and there's a possibility, just depending on how things kind of evolve, but if I don't see you tomorrow on Friday's show, we'll be kind of on the end of some of this heavier tropical rain, and then be talking about the Saharan air layer in the haze and the drier conditions and the temperatures going back up, returning for the weekend. So I like to keep you guys updated with those 2 live shows during the week, but at any other point in time, if I'm on, it's because we've got some weather to talk about here in Central Florida. Hey, Double A, just got here. Can we expect strong storms here in Deltona? Generally speaking, Double A, and it's a great question, I appreciate that. I would expect this activity to be more of just heavier downpours than actual stormy conditions. We're a little bit closer to losing the heat of the day. A lot of this activity here has lost a bit of intensity. I would expect the Deltona area to probably get 25-mile-an-hour winds associated with some of this, but you notice that there's no lightning with this as well. So more than likely not a stronger storm. I think, the opportunity to actually get another special weather statement is very marginal at best. Now, look, the leading edge of that line probably has some of the strongest winds associated with it, but it's still probably below, even a special weather statement criteria. Even the winds out of the Sanford Airport have dipped back down to 25. But downpours, yes. More than that, probably not. I can't rule out a couple of lightning strikes. You notice that even this is filling in a little bit, right across the Osteen area, 415, back towards 44 in Samsula. It's beginning to build in just a little bit more, but nothing, not even any lightning associated with that. But I do appreciate that question, Double A. Hope that answers your question. Probably some good downpours, but nothing in the form of any severe storms or stronger storms as well. But again, in the Orlando metro area, we had solid 30-mile-an-hour winds. Earlier in the day, we had up to 47-mile-an-hour winds in portions of Tampa with more significant rain. Hey, Carrie, how you doing? Hernando in the house. Good to see you. Annie, I appreciate you saying that. Thanks so much. And Greg, I appreciate that as well. And Greg is exactly right. Let me be clear. I thoroughly appreciate the support of the channel and you guys just hitting that like button, because obviously it makes me feel good that you took a second to do so. But Greg is right. With you liking this live stream and commenting increases what's called the interaction of the video and the stream, and YouTube loves that. And if they think you guys are enjoying this by liking and by commenting, they're going to recommend this on people's YouTube homepages that don't even know we exist. And that's the biggest thing, is just getting more eyes on this channel. And you guys are actually the biggest drivers of that. I don't have nearly as much control as you guys think. It's really up to my audience. It's up to you guys. By liking, by subscribing, by commenting, it increases the interaction of the channel, and YouTube thinks, okay, well, if these people are enjoying that content, maybe others will as well. So it really means a lot, and I really do appreciate it. Blue Goose, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. 84 degrees with that really fantastic 87% humidity under mostly cloudy skies. Good to see you there as well. Well, I appreciate you saying that, Annie. We try. Look, it's the YouTube space, guys. You guys know, if you guys know, I did television weather for 25 years. What I really enjoyed about coming to this side of things is that, first of all, I can come on when I want and I can stay on for as long as necessary, as long as I feel like. I can have this live interaction with you guys. Think about that, I always thought when I was on television, like, okay, I got 3 minutes, and what is the viewer going to really want to hear from me in those 3 minutes? And maybe I covered what you wanted to hear, maybe I didn't. But here, you guys have an opportunity to let me know exactly what you guys want to talk about, and we can discuss it in real time. Hi, the Polish Redneck. Love the handle, by the way. Just subscribed. Hey, Ed, how you doing, pal? Will it rain in Tampa from 8 to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning? I have to walk somewhere. Thanks. You got it. We'll take a look at that. You got it, Ed. Hi, Olive Juice. Thumbs up. Appreciate you finding me. Thank you for joining. Again, I am a Central Florida native. I was born in Ocala only because Crystal River didn't have a maternity ward back when I was born. And I'm not that old. But I was raised in Citrus County and had been back in the Orlando area since 2013 after working across a lot of the central and the eastern part of the United States, covering weather on television, including Oklahoma City, which, when we deep dive into things, you guys want to talk about my time in Oklahoma City, we can do that, because that's PTSD of weather that I never thought I would experience. All right, so Ed has asked a fantastic, very specific question. Ed, I'm going to do the best I can to answer your question, and we're going to bring up the Her bottle. This is I think the model that has the best handle on what's been happening. You said 8 to 10 tomorrow morning. All right, here's what I'm going to say, Ed, is that when I've looked at a lot of different things, generally speaking, I do believe that that time frame in Tampa should be quiet. Now, caveat, will there be a couple of showers around? Yes. Would I still bring an umbrella just to be on the safe side? Probably, okay? But more than likely, it's not going to be until kind of today where we had late morning and into the afternoon showers where the East Coast sea breeze kicks in, enhances everything that's over us. So, Ed, to answer your question, in the Tampa area tomorrow morning, first of all, just go all the way back right now. You can see that the model has picked up very well on the light to moderate rain across US 19 and I-75, and then we quiet down overnight. So this is the HRRR model for tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We show dry conditions, 9, 10. Now note, there's a couple of showers offshore, right? You know, could they sneak on? It's a possibility, but I think overall we're looking pretty good. Not until a little bit deeper in the afternoon do you start to see the radar fill back in. So Ed, to answer your question, if it were me, I would still be planning to take that walk. But obviously, you know, when you get up tomorrow morning, just take a look at things before you head out, and just be cautious, because look, some of that activity, if it does develop early enough, could even have a little bit of lightning with it. So you just got to be cautious. But I appreciate you asking that question, and hope I answered it to the best of my ability. Clyde, how you doing, man? What's going on? Hey, Peanut Butter in Ocala. Yep. Listen, man, growing up in Crystal River, if you wanted like anything that wasn't like JCPenney or maybe even Sears, or no, Bell's, that's what it was, you had to go to the Paddock Mall. Like as a teenager, like that was the thing. Hey, we're taking that trip up to the Paddock Mall. What kind of schedule we'll have for this channel? Great question, the Pulse Reddick. So this is a live only channel, all right? I don't do video forecasting, all right? So when I'm on, it's when there is active weather here in Central Florida, and that can be at any point in time, okay? But it's a live only channel. That's why I suggest you guys that notification button, that's the bell symbol, you click that and you make sure you have all the notifications on, because I'm not going to inundate you with updates and video forecasts and stuff like that where you get sick of me. If you get a notification from the channel, it's because I'm live and you know there's a reason why. Now I caveat that because I started doing a show two times a week. Monday at 1 o'clock, Friday at 1 o'clock. And that's just so that we can kind of keep in touch, and I can give you guys some heads up as to some of the active weather I do expect for the days ahead. So generally on Monday's show, I cover kind of the week ahead, and we talked a lot about what could be happening here, you know, over the last couple of days on Monday's show. So if you can join me for that, you know, you guys kind of get a heads up. Now, that show gets archived under the live tab of the CFLW YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch it at your leisure. Maybe you work at 1 o'clock on Mondays, and I get it, a lot of you do, and you don't have an opportunity to join me live. You can just watch the recorded version of what we talked about sometime at your leisure, either later that day or even the next day. You know, we go enough out in time where you're gonna get something, you know, of helpful knowledge, even if you don't watch that the day of. You know, there's that. And I do it Friday at 1 o'clock as well. From time to time, I'll change up that schedule. You know, that's the other great thing I love about doing a channel like this, is like there's no, you know, hard, rigid schedule, but I try and keep that. I do, did we lose the Winter Garden camera? All right. I do schedule those. So again, if you are a subscriber and you have the notifications on, you'll know when I do schedule those live streams. Those are scheduled. These are kind of more, hey, I'm going to jump on. So let me take myself off camera real quick. A couple of things I want to do here. First of all, I'm just going to reset my weather system as I'm answering y'all's questions. You got it, Ed. Rest you said your grass was crunchy. My grass is growing fast, it's thick and gorgeous. Yeah, I didn't have a lot of rain last week, and it was scorching. It was certainly on the crunchier side. Did get a couple of different downpours today. So I am in the club of, I don't think I'm going to need the sprinklers this time of the year with this kind of rain. I never like to try and turn the sprinklers on for the most part. So hopefully I won't have to do that anytime soon. Can we see more rain in Lake Mary tonight? It's a possibility, Cade. but more than likely the heaviest downpour has already passed your area. To give you an idea, like this shot from Conway, that would be where this would be headed up to Lake Mary, and you notice that it's actually going to be a gorgeous sunset here. So to answer your question, Kate, I doubt that we're going to get any more significant rain there. Could we get a little bit of light or moderate rain? It is an absolute possibility, but probably nothing very heavy, at this point in time. Here's a live look to Disney for you guys. Again, still kind of gloomy in that area right now. Oops, sorry for that, guys. Live look to Disney. Again, it's a little bit on the gloomier side. Nothing crazy, but just a little bit grayer there. And again, Lake Buena Vista has just been a little bit wetter from time to time today. And there's an opportunity to have, again, another brief passing shower in this spot. Yeah, you got it, man. No problem. My pleasure. All right, guys. So I think we've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish for today. And again, I'm not going to waste your time. I'll bring back on the live radar here. But again, yes, if any conditions warrant me coming back on live, probably not later tonight, but tomorrow, I will certainly do so. If for some reason things cooperate and we're just getting generalized showers and storms, and again, watch out for the flooding rains, I'll come back on and see you guys live Friday at 1 o'clock for CFLW The Show. First of all, I appreciate all the fantastic interaction for today. Thanks for tuning in, taking a quick second out of your time and coming in and saying hi. If you live in the Central Florida area, I got you covered. Appreciate those who actually jump onto the channel who don't even live in Central Florida. We have a lot of friends of the channel who watch from various areas of the country and around the world. I do the Media Mundo channel for the Caribbean and the Bahamas, and some of our friends in the Bahamas and Aruba and other places like to jump on and support the channel, so I appreciate you guys as well. Friends, I do appreciate taking a quick second, if you haven't so far, liking the live stream, subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so as well. Please remember that CFLW is sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida. You see their logo right below me. Love to have them as a sponsor. Fantastic people. Look, it's storm season, guys, and if there's any kind of storm damage to you, hail, wind, hurricane, a burst pipe, they can walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. They do offer free consultation and policy reviews. So again, you want an advocate on your side. You want to support someone who supports the channel. I suggest that you guys go over to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. Winter Garden in Branford House. Yeah, so I have a live camera here in the Winter Garden area as well that we typically show. It's not down right now. I just have to make a quick setting, but because I have to make a quick setting change, but because we're gonna end the stream anyway, no reason to do that. All right, friends. Appreciate you. Thanks so much for tuning in for today. I'll keep an eye on the weather. Again, make sure you watch out for any areas of flooding for tomorrow. I'll jump back on if necessary, and if not, I'll see you guys Friday at 1 o'clock for CFLW The Show. Friends, thank you so much. Take care. I'll see you soon.